The war in Ukraine continues to devastate lives, turning cities into rubble and threatening global stability. Amid this chaos, a name emerges that promises to change the game: Donald Trump. The former president of the United States, known for his controversial stances and bold negotiations, declared that under his leadership he would end the conflict in 24 hours. Well, more than 24 hours have passed. In this video, we will explore Trump's possible strategies to end the war in Ukraine, the implications for the global geopolitical scene, and the reactions of the powers involved. Get ready for a detailed analysis of what mixes diplomacy, military power, and high-stakes strategy games. Are you ready to understand how Trump can become a key player in this international deadlock? Stay until the end and find out how these negotiations can redefine the future of war and world peace. Well, as many know, the war in Ukraine officially began in February 2022 when Russia crossed the borders. But we must remember that there had been fighting since 2014, when the government of the elected president, Viktor Yanukovych, was overthrown by a coup, allegedly sponsored by the United States. President Trump has a stance of not escalating conflicts. His last term was like that. We need to remember that he made a good negotiation with North Korea. I will talk about it later in this video. His 24-hour promise is campaign rhetoric. He knows that it won't work, and this war could drag on for quite some time. Now, he has many cards to play. He has the deck of sanctions, diplomatic, and even military pressures. He can increase military aid to Ukraine, although it doesn't seem like he will do that. There is already a certain panic in Europe because people know that without American money, it's practically impossible to conduct this war. So people are already starting to prepare to have to accept the American decision. But we need to observe some indications that Trump has already revealed in the first few days. First, he cut military aid for about 3 months, 75 to 90 days. So during that time, the Ukrainian army is likely to suffer a lot. And we also need to remember that Trump, and this is fundamental to what I'm about to say, Trump is a man who comes from the New York real estate market. So, as is the rule in this market, you need to devalue the property. You need to point out some existing or non-existing defects in it to reach the price you want through devaluation, to reach a price that allows you to resell it at a profit. That's what he's doing when he says he can increase military pressure, that Russia is suffering a lot, etc. It's a tactic of his. We need to remember that there's already a previous case, which was North Korea. Trump blustered, wanted war with North Korea, met with leader Kim Jong-un, and from there, the two leaders had a very good relationship. So it's part of Trump's technique to create difficulty and then sell ease. Now, what he's proposing for Russia, the model proposed so far, would be the following. They would ease some of the sanctions, and there would be a Korean model for Ukraine. Russia would keep the territories it has already taken. There would be a demilitarized zone, and peacekeeping troops from the United States and Europe would patrol the region. Russia will not accept this in any way because it is already experienced with the Minsk agreements. It knows that this is just for Ukraine to buy time to restart the conflicts soon. If Trump comes with these proposals, it will be very difficult for Russia to approve. Now, the situation is that Ukraine is in the worst of situations. Russia is making advances, as a European analyst said, slow but consistent. These advances are not stopping. So it is very likely that Ukraine will have to settle for the offer that the United States makes, which they managed to negotiate with Russia. What do the Russians want? They want Ukraine's neutrality, to reduce its army to about 80,000 men, and they should restrict the use of some strategically impactful weapons, such as long-range missiles and certain types of drones. Also, Ukraine would not join NATO. Another important thing, I believe Russia will emphasize a lot on the denazification of Ukraine. But we have to remember something that the Russians know quite well, for better or worse, is that Trump will be gone in 4 years. In other words, they need to secure lasting gains now, which is the best moment, and prepare for a Democratic president in 2028 who might undo everything Trump did.
Vir presidente democrata e desfazer tudo que o Trump fez. Isso é possível. A gente precisa lembrar o seguinte.
This is possible. We need to remember the following. Trump dismantled Obama's JCPOA, which was the Iran Nuclear Non-Proliferation Agreement. Biden tried to revive this agreement. Biden removed Cuba from the list of countries sponsoring terrorism. Trump put it back 24 hours later. So the Russians know there is no linearity, no continuity in American governments. In other words, it's the best time to negotiate, gain strategic advantages, and be in a favorable position regarding Ukraine. So at this moment, this is what we have, a very great uncertainty. I think Trump is playing a poker game or, as I said, a real estate broker's game. But Russia knows it has good cards in hand. The military situation is favorable to it. It knows that Trump will probably want to secure a peace deal. It would be very good for his term to be able to focus on other issues. Anyway, there are many unknowns. So we will continue analyzing this situation. That was our video for today. If you watched, give it a like, comment, share. It's very important. If you can help with the super sticker or super chat, you will be contributing to the growth of our media. In the comments, do you think Trump is capable of ending the war in Ukraine? Give your opinion. It's very important. And if you think he will or won't, how will he do it? Also, remember that we have our course school here on the channel Hate for War. The link is in the description.
Aqui do canal Arte da Guerra, o link se encontra aqui na descrição, tá? E nós temos a nossa livraria, tá? na Amazon.
And we have our bookstore on Amazon with books about Trump, the war in Ukraine, Putin, etc. If anyone wants to support the channel, there's also pics, which can be found here in the description. We'll be back shortly then, always with responsibility and commitment. Goodbye in Brazil, folks. See you later. Well, folks, in our wish list, found here in the video description, you'll find many books about the war in Ukraine. And I remind you of the following. Books delivered by Amazon's delivery system arrive quite quickly. But if you're from that generation that prefers a Kindle book, you can download it instantly. The prices are very good, the topics are quite up to date, and they will give you a very clear picture of what's happening in the war in Ukraine. And I remind you that every time you buy books and other items on Amazon, you are supporting the ARTE DA GUERRA channel.
Vocês estão ajudando o canal Arte da Guerra.